get this party started. Oh, baby. One of those days today. Yeah. There. All right, well, I'm absolutely torched, so I'm gonna try to get off of this thing in one piece. Cup of coffee. It's about 3:30 on a Friday. Just stopped for my end of the day puff. Let's get this party started. Guess we're rolling. Well, coming up today, I got picked up by some kids, college kids, and they asked me what my best character I ever met hitchhiking up and down from Bridger. And I must say, there is one character that stands out. So Monty was about 5'5", maybe 130 pounds. And he looked a lot like Santa Claus, but like a miniature Santa Claus. And he had a purple ring around his mouth from drinking red wine all day, as we would find out. And Monty, the day I met him, I was riding up actually with a friend that day. And we picked up Monty by across from the Daily Coffee Shop. And Monty, within 10 seconds of getting in the back seat, pulls a wine glass from his backpack and pours a glass of red wine. And then, over the course of the 16 miles up to Bridger, Monty told us how he'd been in some war. I can't remember which one, whether it was Korea or Vietnam. And he just hadn't come back to the States. He'd gone to Europe and become a ski bum in the Alps. And he'd been over there for 25 years. Then he made his way over to the States. And all told, Monty had been a ski bum for over 50 years all over the world. Then as I began hitchhiking, I got picked up by a couple people who had picked up Monty further upstream, up Rouse. And I remember one ride specifically. The folks who had picked us up asked, what do you guys hitchhike? Almost before it even got out of their mouth, Monty goes, political reasons. And I cracked up in the back seat. Monty used to sit at the bar in Jim Bridger Lodge and pour himself his glasses of wine from the wine bottle he pulled out of his backpack that he brought from home. He used to, remember, he used to sit out in the spring. He sat out on the Deer Park Lodge deck with the shirt off, smoking joints. Now, Monty's 75 years old, so they let that slide. You know, this is a pretty accepting, free place with a bunch of characters, and Monty started coming in. When he'd come in to go to the bathroom, he wouldn't put a shirt on, so you got a lodge crowded with people on their spring break, and here comes a 75-year-old man, drunk as a skunk, high as a kite, walking in without a shirt. So anyway, Monty made it several years, and finally I wasn't there to witness it, but as the story goes, Monty had a ski locker that he kept packed plumb full of some real skunky weed, and the whole locker room smelled. And so anyway, one day this guy confronted him about it. His dad confronted him about it, and Monty just escalated the conversation to the point where it apparently they started throwing haymakers, and it got broken up pretty quickly. But from that day, Monty was banned for life from Bridger Bowl, which probably was bound to happen. And I'm guessing why he'd been a ski bum at so many resorts is he probably didn't last too long before they kicked him out. But I'll tell you what, Monty was one hell of a character. And I remember one day also, that season I broke my leg, and I was sitting in the lodge. I came up with some friends just to sit in the lodge and hang out. I just wanted to get out of the house, and I still had a broken leg. I couldn't ski, but I just sat in the lodge. And I remember Monty came over and sat across from me with his glass of wine and told me some wild story about how he had one time broken his leg, and then instead of calling ski patrol, he'd made some sort of makeshift splint himself and skied down on one ski with a broken leg. I don't know. Monty was a character, and anyway, that's my Monty story. Well, we've reached the second half of the post-ski joint, as we like to call it, the second half. And it was a good week this week. Skied 5 days. Some ridge hikes in, got some groomers in. Got to ski with some friends, and definitely got worn out. So I'm going to take the weekend and do some reading. If you haven't picked up your signed copy of Free Doug yet, just head on over there to storymillpress.com. Free shipping anywhere in the lower 48 states. If you're in the Bozeman area, I'll hand deliver it on my bicycle. Had some good hitchhikes this week, met some cool people, some interesting people. The kids I rode up with today had gone on a holiday ski trip. They'd hit Alta, Snowbird, Jackson, Targhee, I think, and then Bridger. And I said, geez, that sounds like about the ultimate ski trip right there, boys. Let's just say they had a 30 rack of Bush Light on the center console, and they had made quite the dent by, it was probably 10, maybe 11 when they picked me up. Anyways, they were having a good time, let's just put it that way. Not the driver. The driver wasn't. If I ever get picked up by someone who seems like they're drunk, I just offer to drive in my ski boots.